Okay, number 2, let's talk about the solar plexus. This is the one coming through to speak about next. So we've done sacral relationships as the main focus. So the solar plexus, emotional hub. So in a sense, to paint a picture for you, emotions, emotion, energy in motion. Yeah, that's that water element of it needs to be flowing. Energy needs to flow. And how you can kind of picture it. Okay. When it comes to understanding the energy body and the chakras, the biggest piece of advice I could give you is learn about the physical body. Learn about what your organs do. Learn about the processes that take place within your body. And I don't mean go off and, become a doctor or not, anything extreme. Don't do any kind of like anatomy course. Just buy a book or Google and just learn the basics of what the body does. Through that, you will unlock methods of understanding everything. Okay? And if you know nothing about the body and other than breathing and basics, then what I've just said probably won't make any sense. But once you take that time, which is a discipline in a sense, and you put some effort into learning about what and who you are, everything around you will begin to make more sense on a deeper level. Yeah, that's like if you ever hear, I speak about it often, or and I keep myself to myself, so there are probably many other people that talk about similar stuff in their own language, but the microcosm and the macrocosm. So what happens on a micro level also happens on a macro level. Yeah, that's like the individual work affects the collective work. It's the same with how the body works. If you learn what the body does, you learn what the universe does. Like that's the enormity of what that simple bit of information can give you if you go in and unlock it. Yeah, but it's not going to be, like I said, it's not just going to be door wide open. It's going to happen at your own pace, but it will happen. So learn about your body. So with the solar plexus, yeah, emotional hub. Within the solar plexus, you have your digestive system. Okay, so let's think about that physically. You feel hungry, so your mouth and your mouth and your esophagus are connected to the solar plexus. You feel hungry, so you get a signal. You need something, yeah. So you eat it. Physically, we eat it, goes down. Your stomach digests it, breaks it down. Your liver and your gallbladder pump in some acids and some stuff to help that happen, to get it into a form that your body can then process it even further. And then all this other stuff happens. You have a nervous system within your stomach that feels everything that you're putting in, and your small intestine starts to absorb and assimilate the nutrients from that food that you've digested, that you've eaten. Yeah, and then your large intestine does the last job of just taking out all of the rest of the good stuff before it processes it into what it needs to be excreted. Yeah, there's a system. It's like a pipe in a sense that just goes through in one end out the other, and then your body sends all these intricate things along the way to absorb what's going through. Yeah, so it's a channel, and we talk about being a channel. Yeah, and then we have this system, this body, that whilst that information is coming through our channel, we are able to read and receive, assimilate, absorb that information, and then we begin to learn how to interpret it and understand it. Microcosm, digestive system. Macrocosm, how to channel. Yeah, that's how you, it makes no sense, those two things, but it does, because it's taught you the underlying similarity that you can connect and then go, oh, and then you just naturally, you go down this, it's almost like, instead of questioning just from a mind, I don't want to use the word mind, like a egoic protective way, you start to question in a investigative way, that it's like more like from the soul, because it's like, okay, how can I interpret that, and how can I use that method of understanding and apply it to anything? Yeah, so that's what it did for me anyway. And like, sometimes the little world that I live in probably only makes sense to me, but it's helped me to understand everything around me in a completely different way. The complexities, the layers, the aspects, the multidimensionality of everything. Okay, back to the solar plexus. So we're digesting. So you digest on an emotional level, yeah? You just don't necessarily put it in your mouth. You digest through communication in those relationships, yeah? So even though the energy and the emotion through the disagreement in a relationship may go and be stored somewhere in your hips, it will kind of, in its own magical flow, pass through your solar plexus, because it's your emotional hub. It's almost where the chakras govern an area. The solar plexus governs an area, but it also governs emotions. Just trust that. It just governs emotions, right? And so let's carry on with the absorbing. So emotions, anything that happens, it's not just food, it's the interactions you have. That's why, there you go, there's the connection. The interactions you have, the relationships, it's something you digest into your fields, into your body, and it has to go through that process of being digested, being felt by your systems, and being absorbed and assimilated and excreted. So then that's where you can come back to the relationships that we spoke about in the sacral video. If you absorb it, and because it's different food, you very different, you aren't necessarily able to just excrete it, because to excrete it, there's a process of, oh gosh, I've put that somewhere in my body, now I need to help it out of my body. There's a difference with the emotions. Okay, I don't need to say any more on that. Let's just leave that there, and if it resonates, it resonates. It will drop in if it's meant to. So, solar plexus, emotional hub. It also governs your, kind of like how you're seen in the world, how you feel you are seen in the world. You know, we connect the solar plexus with the sun. It's our courage. In some ways, it's our self-worth, our self-esteem, and it's our fire. It's our fire, yeah? It's our personal sun, it's our fire. And so this is when you can come into relationship with yourself in a way that you start to harness that fire. I'm hearing Sekhmet. Harness that fire. You know, we're all built, even though we're all made, we all have a body, a physical body and an energy field. We're all built so uniquely. And the way I understand or use my methodology of interpreting and understanding stuff is kind of like there are some of us that are, and this comes through my learning of Ayurveda, so let me just explain it. Some of us are just built a bit more fiery. Some of us are just built a bit more earthy or watery or airy. Yeah, we're all made up of those elements, yet some of us have more of some than others. So you may hear me talking about harnessing your fire and think, what's she talking about? And so first of all, I'm going to put that into a bit more tangible, understandable stuff. Fire. It's action, it's driven, it's okay, Gemma, just let's go with that, action and driven. Yeah, it's so if you are, we all have this fire, but if you have gone through your life and you have been kept quite small, you've gone through relationships that have made you feel unworthy, unheard, abandoned, those kind of things, then you may not know how to feel that fire. That fire may scare you a little bit. Yeah, so you may suppress it. You may be a more watery, earthy person. So to tap into that fiery element of yourself just may not be quite as natural to somebody who is very fiery, very active, very energetic, and knows how to make goals and go towards them, that kind of thing. And so harnessing your fire is like coming into a relationship with yourself in a different way again. Yeah, this really feels like it's going off key from the solar plexus, but let's just go with it. Solar plexus, your fire. That's what we're circling around right now. So what does that fire give you? That fire gives you that courage. It gives you that ability. It's masculine. It's a masculine quality here that I'm feeling. Right, so yeah. Your drive, your ambition, your aligning that with soul purpose. So, soul purpose is evolution, your personal evolution, and to keep heading towards that, you need that drive and that fire to keep you going. It's kind of like I'm feeling the masculine and feminine elements coming in and working together now, because emotional hub plus fire, courage, your solar sun, those two in balance, so that there's on a deeper layer, this is what the solar plexus, as we unravel and we get past the healing that needs doing there, this is what we come into a relationship with. So harnessing your fire, that is something that takes you down a path of comfort zone pushing, exploring things that that are new to you, scary, and just something within you just says, you've just got to do it. You've got to walk through that fire. You've got to walk down that uncomfortable road. So that's deeper healing. That's deeper layers. Let's bring it back up to like when we're actually in the place of doing the healing with the solar plexus. And let's bring it back to the emotions. Okay, so there's a practice that I do in healing sessions, and I'm going to give it to you in a way that hopefully you'll be able to practice and try it for yourself. Okay, emotional hub. So imagine, let's just paint a picture. You're feeling very emotional. Something's happened in your life, and maybe it's, brought up things that have happened in the past, because that's what happens, isn't it? We relive things until we heal them. So maybe you're sitting here and you're feeling really triggered and upset and disappointed, or whatever the emotions are, sad. And so a little practice that you can do is you can imagine an orb, okay? And hold this orb in front of you. And breathe, just breathe until you find the calm and the ability to hold this orb, and all the emotions that you are feeling, place them in the orb. You can go through your chakras. You could start at the base, and you don't even need to sit and go, okay, thank you, that was fear and that was this. You can just hold it and just trust and know that when your hands start to move, that chakra's put everything in it needed to. And then bring it to the sacral, and then to the solar plexus, then to the heart, then to the throat, and then hold it around your crown, your third eye. Just hold it out in front of you and just ask your emotional body everything that needs to go into this orb to do that in that moment. Okay, then imagine it, and I want you to place it into your solar plexus, okay, into your emotional hub. And then you're going to guide it upwards, and you're going to pause at your heart, and your heart is going to fill it with love and with courage, heart courage, okay? And then you're going to bring it up into the field of your ajna, third eye, and here it's going to clear. Okay, you're going to just pull your hands away with the intention of that orb and all of that emotion clearing into this field. Now this is the most important bit, okay, and maybe you might not want to hear this bit, but it's your stuff, and it only really clears when you work through it. So instead of going, I've dealt with that, what we're going to do is you're going to hold it, and you're going to call to your Alta Major chakra for higher perspective, okay? And just hold that. Alta Major is bringing in higher perspective. We've cleared the perspective that we have with all of those emotions, and now we're going to allow the Alta Major to bring in a higher perspective. And when you feel that's done, you regather all of that emotion and bring that orb back into your being, reintegrate it with a higher perspective, okay? And then bring it back down to the heart, and again for love. And the Alta Major and the heart are the factors of the higher perspective. So the heart will be, in a sense, embodying the reintegration with the higher perspective. And then you bring it back down to the emotional hub, the solar plexus, and just release your hands. The next few days after you do this, you will feel shifts. Probably the next day. You will need to drink a lot after you've done that process, and you will need to be gentle with yourself. You may cry, you may feel lots of emotions releasing. Okay, you've done a big energetic job there, and so once you've brought them back in, shifts will happen. Yeah, but microcosm, macrocosm, you've taught yourself something. You've taught yourself how to listen to your body. You may not be completely aware, but you've just done it, and it will begin to make more sense as that absorption happens. Solar plexus, let's just feel if there's anything else. Okay, solar plexus and the heart. Okay, you remember how in the first video I said about the sacral and the throat, two creation centers, they connect. This one, it's the heart and the solar plexus. Okay, so this I'm taking from the learning of my healing courses, and they just assist one another in a sense. Yeah, higher and lower chakras in a sense, they assist one another, and the connection here is how you are perceived. The solar plexus is like kind of in a group environment, and the heart is how you see yourself. And that's where the courage of pushing those comfort zones, harnessing that fire, actually assists your heart journey, how you see yourself in the world. Yeah, because first of all, it feels a bit backwards when I'm explaining this, but you have to see yourself first before anyone else will see you the way you want to be seen, don't you? Because it's all about the energy that you emit. So, but then here's like the confusing part in my mind right now is, in order to see yourself that way, you have to put yourself in those environments where others see you. And this, the key that's just dropped in is your perspective of who you are is the one that's tainted by the experiences that you've been through, whereas others don't know that, so they can see you in a sense in a more truer light, in the sense of they see you without all those woundings. That's working with plant medicine as well, is being seen in your purest form. So if you imagine, say, cacao, for example, this is one of the deepest relationships in my life, as you all know. Plants, they're like innocent beings, aren't they? You know, they're not necessarily flawed in the sense that we have gone through this process of experiencing separation in order to feel both positive and negative, in order to bring those into harmony and union within. Plants are just an organism, a being that has masculine and feminine together, that is able to create a flower through all its masculine and feminine parts that are in one form. And so they just work on themselves. That's what they focus on. They focus on working on themselves, but what they produce helps everybody else. There's a big learning in itself. So plants, this pure form. Yeah, so when you work with a plant medicine, you're drinking pure form. It gives you a window or a mirror into seeing everything, yourself, as your purest form. So solar plexus and heart, the heart seeks you being able to see yourself as your purest form. The solar plexus says, okay, well, I've got the courage and I've got the fire and I've got all the emotions. Let's use that then, and let's go through these situations that are really uncomfortable, but they're going to help us heal these emotions, and let's learn who our purest form is. There we go. Okay. That's it for the solar plexus right now. That's all that I'm feeling. Any questions? Any insights? What's your world with your solar plexus? Is there more? Is there anything in your world that is different from what I've shared? You know, let's explore it together. Let's bring our wisdom together. Yeah, thank you. Any comments? Anything? Leave them wherever you watch this. If it's on my blog or on my YouTube or on social media, then just let's share. Right. Thank you.